All right, we're back. We had Wi-Fi issues in Louisville. It is only episode. Now I'm going to lose track of the episode numbers. 41. I guess I could have done it on my phone, but I had awful Wi-Fi issues in Louisville. Uploading Lockdown Sunbelt was rough. So, all right, we're back in Lafayette. Actually, a really easy travel day yesterday. That was pleasant. Got dropped off at 9:30. I left two reasons. I flew out of Baton Rouge because it was cheaper, and flew out on Tuesday because of the PGA Championship. Figured that would be a big deal on Monday, and it appeared to be the case because I went from we dropped off my mother on Monday. She had no problem. Maybe a little bit earlier than me. I think we dropped her off close to 10, and her flight was at like noon. My flight was at 10 of 11, and I got dropped off an hour beforehand. It took 5 to 10 minutes in line with Delta. The TSA was backed up. If that wasn't as efficient as it was, I would have missed my flight. They had 3 people working, and it was lickety split. And as the judge, my dad used to say, if you're not walking right on the plane, you're wasting your time. And that's basically what I did. I walked right on the plane. Of course, I did get some Biscoffs to begin with. That was awesome. And, of course, always is the case. I'm on one concourse, got to go all the way to the other concourse. Not bad in Atlanta. Charlotte would be worse because you got the train in Atlanta, so that wasn't bad. And we're all good. I did get my luggage out. First luggage was out first. That's never happened to me before. And I've even flown first class, #humble brag, not on this one, but usually that comes out first. I think I did Delta Comfort, and we were all good with that. So good travel day. Was back at 3. Leave Louisville at 9:30. Got to drive an hour, and it was great. Okay, so we've missed a bunch. We'll get to the softball here in a little bit. Cajuns taking on ODU, and I don't know how I forgot that the Cajuns played ODU and swept ODU here in Lafayette. So ODU knocks off South Alabama. What's his name? Maverick? Starling's on. I got to find out what his name is because it's a great name. Let me see the lineups here. Maverick Stallings. Yeah. He hits a 2-run home run after he bounces out to short, basically, but he's called back because there's a balk and it's a dead ball. And of course, he hits a 2-run home run. That ties the game up. They take the lead later on. South Alabama had chances, I believe, in the 7th and the 9th and couldn't push a run across. So the Cajuns taking on ODU at 4:30 today. 4:30? Or 4. I think it's 4. And they're starting bright and early. App State and Troy going at it. 9 a.m. I mean, breakfast BP. That's awesome. So we'll be sitting here. Probably will go out. I'm going to do a little Orange Theory at noon because I need it. Blame my sister-in-law for, continuing to fill up the M&M bowls in her house. So we'll miss a little bit, maybe of the second game, which why don't I know that off the top of my head? Is that Southern Miss? Oh, no, I got to look at the thing. We don't. Okay. Let me see if we got we need the bracket up here. It is Southern Miss. Southern Miss in Coastal Carolina at 12:30. Not a whole lot of time. Yeah, that's the problem. You're slating these games for 3.5-hour time slots. That's usually not the case. All right. So that we're going to be behind to begin with. So we'll see if I may get lucky and we'll see what time the Troy App State game ends, if that's close. We'll be out of commission here from about quarter to noon to just after 1 o'clock. We'll be back. So we'll probably miss the end of one game and the beginning of the next, but It is what it is. Maybe go out for the Cajuns game. That's going to be closer to 5. That probably wouldn't be surprised if that's closer to 5 than it is to 4. So Cajuns taking on ODU. See if the Cajuns RPI went up yesterday. No, they're still 36. Okay. I think they're in good shape. A couple of bad losses. Houston Baptist, Rice, Houston for that fact of the matter. Where did Houston end up here? The Cajuns ended up with 94, and that's probably because LSU has gotten hot. And La Tech is playing well, right? Well, La Tech is 26. So they played La Tech twice. Coastal won. LSU is 27. So a couple of rivals that Cajuns fans don't like at all actually have helped their out-of-conference schedule, which is top 100 for the first time, I think, this season. But where did Houston end up? I may have already missed them because they're 107. So, if they beat, and we're only talking a couple of games. I'm not talking about sweeping Wright State. I just don't think that's a legitimate ask. But take 2 out of 3 from Rice instead of losing 2 out of 3. Beat Houston and beat Houston Baptist, sorry, HBU. And, the Cajuns would be a top 30 team. Might be on the precipice of hosting. Probably not, but you'd feel a little bit better than you are. But they won the regular season. They're in D1 baseball, has them at a number 2 seed in College Station. That was actually Baseball America. Baseball America has them as the number 2 seed in College Station. Teddy Cahill posted that, I think, about like 2 a.m. So not sure how much sleep he's getting these days. We'll see what D1 baseball does. LSU with an impressive win over Georgia. I don't know how much that's taken into consideration because baseball is one of those games that it does spin out of control. That's an impressive win. All right. LSU's playing well. Not sure how much pitching they have to get through regional, right? If they got to play more than 3 ball games, they could be in trouble. But obviously Gage Jump, I've been impressed with him since the first time we saw him in Houston, and he's worked up to the Friday starter, if you will. And he's pitched well. But nonetheless, the Cajuns are in, and we'll see where they go. Again, D1 baseball, I think, had them at going to Starkville, who had a huge win last night, a walk-off home run over Ole Miss. And that probably going to end Ole Miss's season. We'll see. That'll be a good example of what I was talking about with the RPI. Let's see where they are. Ole Miss they're 34. They're not getting in. They're 27 and 29. They do have a number 2 strength of schedule. All right. We'll see. That'll be a good experiment. It'll be brutal if Ole Miss gets in. I don't care what their RPI is. They're 27 and 29. You can't put a team with a losing record in just because they played a tough schedule. They lost most of their games. So I don't think they're getting in. I do think, right, and we can't have an I told you so situation because LSU's won. They sweep Ole Miss. They beat Georgia. They're in. They have them going out to Corvallis. Is that something? I don't know anything about Oregon State, to be honest with you. Let me see if I can find he's got him going out there with UC Irvine, LSU, and Air Force. So I don't know anything about those schools at all, but that doesn't seem like an impossible place for LSU, even if they're a 3 seed. Let's see what UC Irvine is. UC Irvine, they're 41 and 11, so they're pretty good. Strength of schedule, though, is 114. Out of conference schedule is 131. They're 20 and 7 in the Big West. So they've had a really good season. I'm not sure. Let's see who they've played. Well, we can see who they've played. Let's see who we got here. North Dakota State. They did sweep Tulane early on in the season. Played San Diego, Michigan, UCLA. UCLA stinks this year. 19 and 33. Fresno. UC Davis. Bakersfield. Hawaii's actually pretty good, as it turns out. UC Santa Barbara is really good. They took 2 out of 3 from UC Santa Barbara. Well, USC isn't any good. They lost 2 of 3 to San Diego. UC San Diego swept San Diego State. They stink. Yeah, that's not going to scare Yeah. They take on UC Irvine. That's not going to scare LSU at all, right? Let's see what Oregon State is. Let's see. Oregon State is 19-10 in the Pac-12. They have a middling schedule too. 74 ranked non-conference schedule, 71 overall. Let's see who they've beaten. Non-conference, they're a lot like LSU. They're 22-3. They lost to Arkansas, beat Oklahoma State, beat Texas Tech, North Dakota State, Cal State Northridge, Utah, swept Washington. They stink. USC is not very good. They lost 2 of 3. Maybe Reigns knocked out 1. They swept Arizona State, who's okay. Stanford stinks. They took 2 of 3 from Stanford. Cal is pretty good. They lost all 3. They got swept by Cal. They played Oregon in a 4-game series. I don't know, kind of an odd deal. They split with Oregon, took 2 out of 3 from Washington, sweeping UCLA, and they took 2 out of 3 at Arizona. That's probably their best series. Yeah, you send LSU out to Corvallis, they're not going to be all that intimidated. Not at all. All right, it is the Schultze cast. We're back. Still no anything to share on what I've got going on. Although it is a little connection to the voodoo in an odd way, but I can't tell you how shocked I am that the voodoo, did we find out they owe the Cajuns $30,000? So I mentioned it. They should have made sure that the check cashed before anybody set foot in Blackham Coliseum. Sometimes I don't see the forest through the trees. That was an easy one. That was way too easy. And I know there's probably a rival between, Lafayette and Lake Charles. But if you just asked the people in Lake Charles, I'm sure they would have told you, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm sure you're getting a different story from the AFL, but I'm sure the Cajuns were warned and they're left holding the bag. I should have had something to share last week, if not from Monday. So I haven't been on it for a couple of days, but I don't have an update, unfortunately. I'm going to guess if I don't have an update to share by this time Monday, whatever I have going on is not going to happen, and I will be sticking around for a little bit. All right, we'll just put it that way. All right, Cajun sweep. A lot of the Sunbelt Awards. Kyle DeBarge does beat out, I presume, Banks Tolley. They gave Tolley the Newcomer of the Year award. Again, just because Kyle, and we're homers here, obviously, had this fabulous season, we don't have to disparage Banks Tolley. All right. He's playing in the mountains, whatever the case is. He had a great season. If App State finishes second, he may very well be the Sunbelt Player of the Year. Led the league in hitting, led the league in home runs, second in RBI. 95% of the time, he's going to win it. But Kyle DeBarge was the best player. All right. Kyle had a great season. Statistically, not quite as good as Banks Tolley, right? And it is what it is. Matt Stewart said Tolley's an outfielder and shortstop, means more defensively. I think Kyle got tired, right? He had, I think they had 4 errors against Coastal, had 2 errors on 1 play. But obviously, he's had a fabulous year. And deservedly so, wins the Sunbelt Player of the Year. All right, we'll see if his draft status gets any higher. Second, third round pick. We'll see. Was rated as a top shortstop in college by D1 Baseball, and I think they had him as like the 85th listed prospect. So, I mean, I guess that could be a supplemental second round draft pick, however that works. But hopefully. He'll have a shot. A lot of it is being in the right spot at the right time. LP Langevin gets Pitcher of the Year, which I guess we stumbled upon when we looked at it. on Monday's episode of Locked On Sunbelt, because there really is no starter that has dominating numbers. Chase Morgan's had a great season, but only has 4 wins. Led the league in RPI, LP's RPIs or ERA. Did I say RPI? ERA taking a hit, gave up that 3-run home run to South. But has struck out 40% of the batters that he's faced this year. That's incredible, and he'll be a big part of the Cajuns if they are, to go deep in June. All right, they gotta. It'd be nice if they could use him twice. We'll see. Andrew Herman has not been what we had before. We'll see. Do we even know who's pitching today? I don't even know. We have game notes. Let me see. That I don't know. They probably haven't put out any game notes. No, I haven't seen any game notes. No. So we don't really know who is pitching today. For the Cajuns. Let's see here. Louisiana opens play. Let's see. We got a preview. Yep. Louisiana opens up. No. It does not say. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we got something here on Cajuns baseball. All right. It does not say. All right, so we'll find out probably together when they put the lineup out. I do want to talk about what happened with the softball team, and I was wrong about not having enough pitching. They had enough pitching, as it turns out. The defense, which led them to where they were, let them down. And are we really questioning Jerry Glasco sending CC to the plate on a bang-bang play? I mean, seriously? I'm not even sure she was technically out, but because, where did she tag her? Did she tag her on the stomach, or did she not tag her until the arm came in and was her foot on home plate? Nonetheless, that's a bang-bang play. Whenever there's a bang-bang play, you got to have the defense make a play, and the defense made a play. If that ball is high, she's safe. If she's reaching to the left, she's safe. If she's reaching to the right, she's safe. The ball was on the money. If I'm Jerry Glasgow, I'm sleeping well at night. I'm disappointed that we lost, but not wrecking my mind on that decision. There is no second guessing. I thought he was not aggressive enough when he didn't send Langoliers home against Princeton. Now, the difference there was it was tied, and there was nobody out. And CC ends up with a sac fly, bringing home Alexa for the winning run against Princeton. But I think she clearly would have made it safe scoring on that play, and he didn't send her. Maybe could put Williams in as a pinch runner, but again, it was a bang-bang play, and Baylor made a sensational play. I'm a big believer in make the other team make a play, and the other team made a play. To even that he wore it, that he owned it is nice. It's great. There's nothing to own. I don't think that's a mistake at all. I think we've seen plenty of mistakes with Sunbelt baseball coaches pitching to Cal DeBarge. I have no idea what Georgia State was doing last night. Maybe they don't have much of a bullpen. Their starter goes 6 innings, shutout baseball. The first guy that comes out after Georgia State takes a 1-0 lead, a 4-pitch walk. If that was me, I'm bringing in the next guy. I don't care if you give up a 500-foot home run. At least you're throwing strikes. So they get a 4-pitch walk, then a walk on 3-2. Georgia State screws up not 1 at-bat, but 2 at-bats, tries to bunt him over. That doesn't work. Then the next guy, they get a wild pitch, so the runners move up. Then the next guy swings at ball 4. It would have been bases loaded and 1 out. Instead, the Georgia State pitcher can get out of it, and it's runners on at second and third, and you're pitching to Sam Antonacci, the right-hander for Georgia State's pitching to the left-hander Antonacci, compared to bringing up the right-hander, which would have been at the Coastal lineup, you're picking your poison. I understand that. But I'm not going to let the guy who was second in the league in hitting beat me. Let the next guy beat you. So, and we've talked about that with the bases loaded. You start nibbling and but I'm sorry, I'm not letting Sam Antonacci beat me. So there's a plenty of decisions to go around that I can question. I do not question Jerry Glasgow's decision to send CC. That's not. It's to me that was a no-brainer. I mean, I thought the game was tied. I thought the game was going to be tied, and the throw was on the money. It was a good tag. There was no reason not to send her. I don't think the Cajuns played particularly well. They had all kinds of opportunities early in that game to blow it open and did not. We saw what happened when they blew open the first game, right? Way before the 10-run inning. And they blew it open. And Baylor was already kind of pulling back. Like, you get it to be 4-5-0, which a couple of more base hits, right? I mean, the Cajuns didn't even score on a ball off the wall, which I'm not sure there was a base running mistake, but the girl in left field for Baylor played it really well, right? That got over her head. You got to make sure she doesn't catch it. And then, she's standing up almost against the wall and somehow gets the ball in her glove. Normally, that would bounce right past her. And not only are you scoring the 1 run, you're scoring 2. You might score 3. I thought Chloe and Sam, Chloe was outstanding. Sam sort of lost it, but regained it. And, they ended up, Baylor made it's kind of like a football game. They made one more play than the Cajuns. The defense, they called it a base hit, but Sam should have fielded it. And I don't think a run would have come home. We don't know what the next person's going to do, right? There's going to be 1 out and 1 on at second base. Maybe Sam turns a double play, but I doubt it. You bunt her to third. So maybe instead of 2 runs, they get 1 run. Disappointed that the Cajuns don't win a host regional. Not sure, they would have played Florida in Gainesville. But I don't have any problem whatsoever what Jerry Glasgow did. None whatsoever. Not at all. I think that was fine. I'm sure he's going to lose sleep on not winning the regional, but not on that decision to send CC. That was, to me, a no-brainer. I'm sorry. I think the people are playing the results when they say, what are you doing sending her with only 1 out? And was Maya coming up? I would have. I don't have a problem sending her. The other, the difference, here's the big difference between when you hear don't make the final out at third base, don't make the first or third out at third base. And that may be more baseball than softball, but don't make the first or third out at third base because you're in scoring position at second. All right. There is a difference between being at second and third, but don't make that out at third base. All right. I don't hear that at home. I think Glasgow said that. Don't make the first out at the plate. Now, the difference is your runner is, erased. But if you're safe at third, you still got to score. If you risk it and you're safe at the plate, you've scored the run. So there is the difference between, you don't make the first or third out at third base, that old adage. If you're safe at home, then the run scores. So I just don't have a problem at all. Not at all with what Glasgow did. Not at all. So disappointing finish, that's for sure. And I'm going to guess there's going to be some girls that take off, right? We'll see if Chloe comes back, right? I'm terrified that someone's going to go get Chase Morgan, right? And I talked to somebody about that, a month ago. That would be my concern. Hopefully they come back. Cajuns need a little bit more pitching. So it's just not on Sam and Chloe. And that's basically it. You're only losing Locker. That's it. That's all. So you have a new freshman class coming in. Obviously there'll be a big departure. You guys still got they're a bunch of sophomores. So you may not even play for another couple of years. So we'll see. It wasn't a big class last year, only 3, although very key players. And it's not a very big class this year. So the Cajuns are in good shape for next season. Someone did say to me that the Sun Belt isn't going to be nearly as good because, Mullins and Lackey are leaving because they're done. So the schedule may be just as brutal next year for the Cajuns as it was this year. But they're experienced. They're going to be raring to go. All right, speaking, I was in Louisville for that whole mess, right? That whole Scotty Scheffler mess happened Friday. And I think by the time I got to the Baton Rouge airport, I tweeted out to, some I sort of know, and I follow others I follow on Twitter, first to get the body cam video wins. And when you know it, no body cam video. What a shock. Someone thinks they're going to have video from a light post. We'll see if that gets released. And has anybody seen the cop that was supposedly injured? We're getting all kinds of stories. People thinks that it's a, elitist golfer that is getting privileged. And, there's also coming out that, one cop said, go ahead. And another cop didn't hear him. There were cops on the scene more cops on the scene because of the fatality, which is a tragedy and which is much more important, which Scotty Scheffler admitted, right? That he said that's much more important than what I'm going through. And he said all the right things. That was a heck of a press conference. So I'll say that. He said all the right things. My situation will get handled. It's a big misunderstanding. I'm really not that concerned about it. As for his play, I think he ran out of adrenaline. When he was talking about, still shaking while he was on the course and trying to slow down his heart rate, I just think he lost all his adrenaline on Saturday. I think the adrenaline got him through on Friday, and he ran out of it for Saturday, which is too bad. Nice win by Schauffele. That's the guy I always pick. I always pick Xander Schauffele on. I didn't bet on him for majors because he's always about to win one and then never does until he did. So congratulations to him. I don't understand the whole. People don't like that. What was he? 21 under? I guess 21 under. A lot of people were that way, right? This was close, right? DeChambeau shoots 20. Hovland, if he doesn't bogey, is 19. Wasn't it an incredible drama down the stretch? Why do I need to see these guys battle? What's the difference if I see them battle at minus 20 or if I see them battle at, minus 2? I don't understand it. It was close. I don't have a problem if it's not the most difficult of golf courses. They want a challenge for the majors. The challenge is to shoot better than the other guy. I think it's fun. Ratings were way up. I don't know how much the Scheffler situation got into that, but that was cool. Did not get out to the golf. I did get a nice bottle of bourbon. I did not know. There was a big drop, and I just stumbled upon it. Was going to Orange Theory, of course, and it's in the same shopping center as Total Wine, and I got a nice bottle of Michter's Barrel Strength. That was, I guess, one of those situations where people are sleeping out, and it's probably a good thing that I did not know about it because I may have gotten a more expensive bottle, but I ended up with one good bottle. So that's all it is. And I'm not sure I could have got a second bottle in my bag, as it turns out. We did well with that. Also, it was a great weekend. It was my nephew's. The reason we went up there is my nephew, Sam, graduated high school. They picked me up from the airport, and we went right to Game 6 between the Knicks and the Pacers. That was awesome. Really nice arena. We had dinner at Weber Grill, the grills that most of us have, a Weber Grill. That was the place. It was okay. I didn't have a steak. I didn't feel like a steak. I had a hamburger. It was good. It was pretty good. And Indianapolis, downtown Indianapolis, is outstanding. No wonder why they want to keep the combine there. There is not a lack of all kinds of restaurants, whether it is, we saw Italian, steak places, Mexican. all kinds of restaurants. And then the thing that surprised me out, and really this is, I don't know what it is, 18 to 20,000 people all descending on downtown. When was the last time you stood in line to get into a bar? Honestly. I don't know the last time I stood in line to get into a bar. There's got to be, one had live music. I saw that. But people were standing in line to get into a bar. I can't tell you the last time I stood in line to get into a bar, especially when there's other bars. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I did that. I didn't even like doing that in college. And that's when it was cold out. Yeah. Very odd, right? And some of these people it wasn't like 2 or 3 people in line or 5 to 10 people in line. Some of these lines were like 25, 30 deep. What about that place? No, I didn't get it. I can't tell you the last time I stood in line to get into a bar. Let's see where I've lived here. Mobile. No, I've never stood in line to get into a bar in those two places, in here or Mobile, right? Miami, into a club? No, if I'm getting into the club, yeah, we're just waiting in line to people showed up at the same time we did. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I stood in line to get into a bar. That's been a minute. So, but it was pretty cool. Pacers blew it last night. That's for sure. I got trumped by my brother Eric buying. He bought 4 tickets to go see the Pacers and the Knicks for my nephew. My nephew's going to school up in Indianapolis, and all of a sudden he's a Pacers fan, and that was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. My nephew is a little intense watching sports at the games. I've seen that with Kentucky Louisville, so we call him Game Day Sammy. As my brother, his father Seth says, he doesn't take a play off. So that was fun. And I got him a Louisville helmet with a couple of autographs from Brownlee and Jamari Thrash. And I think the Pacers game trumped that a little bit. So it was pretty cool. It's a good gift. He's big into helmets. I don't know why, but I got a replica helmet and got a couple autographs at the Senior Bowl. So that was neat. All right. LSU Tigers, obviously they are in. I would say I've been saying they are in anyway. We'll never know. And I don't think Ole Miss is in. They're not going to put Ole Miss in with a 27 and 29 RPI. I just didn't think that if LSU was on the border, on the bubble, that they were going to eliminate LSU. Just like I don't think they're going to do that with Coastal Carolina. Like last night, I think Coastal Carolina had to beat Georgia State, and they did. And I think they're in too. So I think Coastal Carolina is now in. Don't tempt fate when you're a G5, because those Power 5 schools will always get the benefit of the doubt. We see that all the time. We can complain about it afterwards, but you certainly know going in. So LSU is all of a sudden hot. Again, they're not going to be afraid to go out to Corvallis. I'll tell you that. They may have enough pitching to get them through that regional. Who do they got today? I don't even know who they got today. Again, that was a really impressive win against Georgia. It's one thing to outlast Georgia like 15-11, but they beat them 9-1. That's impressive. So LSU has Kentucky today. So that's got a little bit of drama. 9:30 in the morning. LSU beat Kentucky last year in the Super Regionals. Kentucky may be ready to make that jump this year. So this is a good ball game. I presume Holman is going for LSU. I don't know anything about Kentucky outside of their manager is quite the character. And you see, it does reveal character. When you lose, right? And we saw like Rick Carlisle last night, talk about owning it. He owned it compared to Mike Malone. Obviously, one just lost game 1. The other one lost the series, and Malone was way over the top. in his reaction. But, back when Southern Miss lost to LSU, so impressed with that, and really impressed with the Kentucky head coach last year. I had just gotten back, and he was impressive. He was impressive. I guess he's longtime friends with Jay Johnson. So that is a pretty good game. So I guess we'll have LSU on and App State and Troy on here at 9 o'clock. All right. But I think LSU is in. Obviously, we said it, right? Sweep LSU, sweep Ole Miss. I didn't realize I'd be playing Georgia. So that's not an easy ball game. And they dispose of the Bulldogs. And they are well on their way. Again, a win here and a win there. I mean, RPI, what are they? They would have been, they're sitting at 27. So they would have needed a few more wins to get into that top 16. But we'll keep an eye on teams that, other conferences, Northeastern thinks they got to win. Northeastern is sitting at 30. Are they going to get in if they don't win their conference tournament? That's my guy, Mike Lavin. So wishing the Huskies all the best. Is that CAA? I think that's the CAA. All right. Also, I got to do a better job here. This has been going on with the Power 4 conferences and the NCAA kind of screwing the G5. And boy, they're talking about getting into bed with these money guys. That's not going to end well. Not at all. Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports has a thing with Drew Weatherford, a former, I think, Florida State head coach and not head coach, quarterback, and now investment banker. And they're talking about getting into bed with private equity. And basically, the agreement that the Power 4 schools have is that the G5 are paying like 60% and the Power 4 are paying 40%, and the G5 are trying to reverse that, which would make sense. And then you also have, how about this? Jaden Rashada suing Florida and our guy Billy Napier. Let me see. Mike Bianchi from the Orlando Sentinel basically comes to, well, not basically, he comes to Billy's defense that Napier is the one who put the kibosh on the deal because the numbers were insane. Like, this guy's not the best quarterback in the nation, and why are you paying him $14 million, right? And, Bianchi kind of lays it out both ways, right? He's saying that the Florida guys are kind of buffoons, but Rashada is suing UF for reneging on a deal, which is exactly how Rashada ended up committing to Florida to begin with, or almost committing to Florida, right? Or did he commit to Florida? Whatever, right? But he was already going to Miami, and he reneged on the Miami deal. I think Rashada is going to lose. I don't think Rashada is going to win in this one. He's got Rusty Hardin. He's a great attorney, but I think Rashada is going to lose very quickly. There's going to be a lot of he said in this, and there's not going to be a whole lot of proof. So good luck with that. Not to mention, is this going to come to court anytime soon? This isn't going to come to court. It's 24. You'd be lucky if this is in court before the 25 season kicks off. So good luck with that. He may be done with his college career before it comes to court. And I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the way it gets dismissed fast because there's a lot of, well, that's what they told us, and not a whole lot of paperwork. So we'll see what they have. Bianchi claims, and maybe UF claims, or people claimed, it's in the column, that, they put Napier's name in there just to embarrass either Billy and the school. And although they're not suing the school, looking for a quick settlement. No. This whole thing is becoming a mess. And, I'll be admitted, there are a lot of people saw this mess coming. I didn't think it would be this messy, but, we're going to get, I think I said this on Locked On Sunbelt, today's episode. we're going to get a separation from the Power 5 and the G5 quicker than you think. And it may not be that kind of separation. It may be like, I think it would be a great idea. It'd certainly make it exciting. I don't think anyone's going to agree to it. But if you take the top 30 teams in the Power 5s, and we can debate on who they would be. And maybe it's a certain budget number that you got to go with. Because as much as, Alabama and South Alabama, as Josh Pate said, are not playing the same sport, either is Mississippi State and Alabama, right? There's $100 million difference between Mississippi State and Alabama. And 50 or so million of that from Mississippi State is coming from the SEC network. So, so Alabama really has a $170 million budget compared to their $70 million budget, right? But then you can relegate, which is going to be odd because, these teams are never the same, going to not necessarily be the same year in, year out. There's going to be a bunch of turnover every single year. But if you have the top 30 teams or whatever it is, and they do it, and then everybody else is playing in another championship, I don't think that would be as bad, right? Like my Orange, I'm terrified that my Orange are going to get stuck on the wrong side of this. It'd be nice if they found their way into the Big Ten. I think the ACC is going to dissolve. You got this whole Florida State Clemson thing going on. And again, it's amazing. It's all about the money. It's just all about the money. It really is. And, the NCAA and maybe even college coaches, TV's part of it, kind of all brought this on themselves. It'll be interesting to see. Mark Cuban said a couple years ago, the NFL is going to tumble over itself. I don't think that's coming just yet. The NBA is negotiating a massive TV deal, so massive that Warner Brothers isn't going to be in it anymore. I've never seen so many people care about a pregame show, but I guess that's a big deal. I mean, it's a good show, but oh well. But it is all about the money, and we are not talking chump change, right? I mean, even the difference is like between 2.8 and 2.5. That's like $300 million. That's a lot of difference. And one's on cable and one's not, although I don't know how many people don't have cable these days. I'm sure there are a bunch of people, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it used to be. And when I mean cable, I mean, when you, not in the, more in the broad sense, right? I don't have cable. I have YouTube, but that's still cable. It is, to me. But yeah, so it is all about the money, and it's a ton of money. And it used to go into the pockets of the schools, and they build the facilities, and it used to go in the pockets of the coaches. And now the players, this whole agreement between the NCAA and Congress and everything is about back pay. What? Like, they want money, they want NIL money for the stuff they didn't get? I mean, how far back are we going? That's crazy. We're back paying kids that didn't get involved with the NIL, but I don't understand that one. But it's all about the cash, right? And this isn't even, and this all started, if we don't remember, this is Ed O'Bannon, right? Right. Ed O'Bannon wanted money because he was in the NCAA basketball game. And why, it's not my name, but it certainly got my number, and it sort of looks like me. And that's where the name, image, and likeness all came from. But this is way beyond that, right? Basically, the Florida thing is, you pay to play, and that's not what it's supposed to be about. But let's be honest, it is. And Bianchi also says the biggest scam is that you're getting the fans, so to speak, the boosters, to pay for the players to come instead of the schools. The schools are now making plans to have to pay for the players because that's what's coming. That's also in this agreement. Like, they're going to have a salary cap. No. It is becoming more professional, unfortunately. I'm not sure how much that's going to change the way we view it or the way we, no one's thinking about that when it's 3rd and 8 and the season's on the line, right? No one's thinking about, how much money J.J. McCarthy is making. when he's got to scramble for a 3rd and 8 against Alabama in the national championship game. No one's thinking of that. I'm not even sure if we think that, when we're watching the Super Bowl, right? No one's thinking about, well, how much money does Patrick Mahomes make? We're just like, Patrick Mahomes is really good. Although I guess that's now a story. He showed up. I mean, he's got a dad bod. I mean, is that something new? We saw him with his shirt off. He's not jacked or ripped. Not to mention, it's May. He's enjoyed the offseason. February, March, April, May. It's 4 months. It's 3.5 months since the Super Bowl. If he needs to shed a few pounds between now and September, he will. The last person I'm worried about being a little bit too chunky is Patrick Mahomes. That's not worried about that at all. Plus, these are just OTAs. This is like mini camps. This is nothing, right? This is, breaking out the cobwebs, ripping those apart. The last thing I'm worried about is what kind of shape Patrick Mahomes is in. I think that's about it. That has us covered. Again, we got a full slate of Sun Belt games today, a full slate of SEC games today. And we're back here in Lafayette. That's the Schultz weight loss project's gone in the wrong direction, as I mentioned. It did work out 3 out of the 4 days, though. Saturday, we did Orange Theory. Saturday, my foot hurt, which I knew it was. I didn't change into sneakers. So we're walking around Indianapolis in my shoes, and it just doesn't work out for me for the next day. So I didn't work out Sunday. Monday went to Orange Theory. That was good. And Tuesday I ran in the neighborhood. So that was good. But the eating was not good. So what do we have? Didn't eat too poorly on the way to Louisville. But then we had the hamburger. All right. Saturday we had hibachi. That was good. Sunday, here's the problem. Now, also there was ice cream cake on Saturday and more cake on Sunday. And we had pizza on Sunday. I don't think I had more to eat Sunday night. Maybe I sneaked in a piece of cake. Monday, I don't think I had lunch. We went out to dinner. Their favorite restaurant, Drake's, is a sports bar there in town. And then top that off with some Grater's ice cream. That was pretty good. Yesterday, I ate I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, I ate like crap. In Atlanta, I was going to go get the Auntie Annie's pretzels, but didn't see them. I wasn't going to go out of my way to look for them. If they were on the way to the gate, I would have got them. But I got a big frozen yogurt with all the toppings. So that's great. Then I got a bag of caramel corn in the Baton Rouge airport. Hopefully I would come home. Nope, that was gone before I got home. Going to heat it up at home because it's better gooey like that. But no, I did do a good job with a Caesar salad, chicken Caesar salad last night. So, and I didn't top that off with an ice cream. So we'll see. I put on a little bit of weight since I was 208. We'll see where we are. We'll get the system going again and see where we are on Sunday, right? Wasn't too bad this morning when I weighed in. We won't have to go into that, but not bad overall. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, right? Give me a couple of days and, it won't be bad. Today's Wednesday, Friday or Saturday morning, right? Saturday or Sunday morning, I'll be fine. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry about not being around Monday or Tuesday again. Just the download worked really well, but the upload was not good. It took me an hour and a half to upload 2 Lockdown Sunbelts. Usually that just doesn't take very long at all. So that's a me problem, or it was. But oh well. Those are up now, and we'll continue to do Lockdown Sunbelt. We're almost at 1,240 subscribers, trying to do a drive for 1,500. Maybe I can make a graphic or 2 for that. So please subscribe to the Schultzecast as well. If I do go home at the end of June, when I usually go home, we'll still do both. And get to sleep in a little bit when it's the Schultzecast up at instead of 6:55. It's 7:55, so I get to buy an hour. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and we will we'll obviously have a full recap of the Cajuns and LSU tomorrow. All right. Thanks so much. Enjoy the Wednesday. We'll talk again on Thursday.